So any other, challenges with working on the islands? Like, I've always wondered what it's like.
Logistics were really tough. Expenses, we had to fly everything in or bring everything in on a ship.
Right.
There's some pretty hefty import duties. There's no taxes. Everyone says, oh, there's no taxes in the island, but they certainly make up for it with fees and import duties and what have you. The local labor force was challenging. Yep. We one of the great things that we did and decided to do from day one. I said I don't want to bring in 50 expats to do this job. We're renovating a hotel on an island in the Bahamas. It was next to the original Prime Minister's home, Lyndon Pinling, who created the country. And I said, it only makes sense to hire people from the island, local people, bring some of our trades down from Canada to work with them and train them, and then keep a local workforce there. So that was amazing to, we got work permits for some of our crews to come down and work side by side with some of the locals. And some incredible friendships were made. Both sides were exposed to a different culture and had a lot of fun getting to know each other. And it was an amazing time. And it's great for us to go there now and see that there's this local workforce that has the skills in this building, and they're teaching the younger ones as well. And it's just great. But challenge wise, workforce, availability of skilled labor, costs, the heat. The first few months we were there, we didn't have air conditioning, and it was north of 40 degrees and humid. So that was a learning curve as well.
So how do you get equipment out there? I know you've rented from DOZR in Florida, which is awesome. Thank you. But how do you get equipment out on the island? How do you handle that?
So we've got a ship that leaves Miami twice a month, and it's a big barge with a kind of a bow ramp that comes down, and they supply the Bahamian Islands. So anything we need to get over the island, we load on the barge. We ship over. If it's something we've rented or equipment that we don't need long term, we use it back on the barge, back over to Florida. And even if it's on the island for 4 or 5 months, it might look like it's been there for 10 years because the salt in the air, the humidity, the sand, the abrasion, things age really fast over there. So maintenance is super important.
Interesting.
Making sure that anti-corrosion is applied all the time. Anything that hits any salt water sits near the ocean, corrodes so fast that you have to be really proactive on maintenance.
How long of a boat ride is that?
Oh, geez. I think they're 14 or 18 hours out of Miami to get over there. It's a big, I mean, you're crossing the Gulf Stream, the Gulf of Mexico, which also, I've crossed myself, I don't know how many times now. If you have a north wind in a current that's moving north, a current opposing wind, the wave size doubles or triples immediately at the edge of that current. So, I mean, we've had some surprises, and there's certainly times when, weather has stepped in and said, your boat's not coming this week. So we've had to make do.
Any other major challenges working on the islands, hurricanes, any other weather?
I mean, the pandemic was a big one. We opened the hotel, and a week later, the world shut down. That was a challenge just for the business to survive through. We had Hurricane Isaiah go directly over the island. That was a Cat 1. That didn't cause a lot of damage for us, but it was chaos. It was get all the shutters up, put everything away, and then they can fly around. Had to be battened down or put inside. Dorian, the big Cat 5 that hit Abaco, thankfully missed us, but affected a lot of our staff, their families and friends and what have you on other islands. So that, we certainly backed off the project a little bit and focused on trying to help where we could there. But I mean, you get, there's Bahamian boas that we would find in buildings and different animals and crabs and scorpions and all kinds of stuff. So it was just learning to work in a different environment. And we would have, some of our local employees would come to work in pants and long sleeve shirts and a toque and all kinds of stuff in the middle of summer. And we're struggling to survive in shorts and a t-shirt. And they're working hard all day, barely breaking a sweat. And, we can hardly handle it in the beginning. It takes a while to kind of acclimatize yourself. So that was, and the distractions were a challenge as well. You got the ocean right there. You've got diving and fishing and all kinds of fun stuff to do. So you had to focus on the job for sure.
Why were the locals wearing, long sleeves and long pants? Is it,
sun protection? You learn after a while in that heat. It's mostly the sun that heats you up. Even if it's a blistering hot, humid day, when you cover up, it actually keeps you cooler. So it was interesting. And they're used to that heat. They're used to working in that heat and putting in the hours. And we'd have guys show up in jackets in the morning. We're already wanting to take our soaking wet, sweaty T-shirts off. Yeah, right. It was great.